So I had a client who didn't like their body. Can't blame them. And they described their relationship with their physical appearance as body dysmorphia. And that didn't quite ring true to me, because body dysmorphia implies that what you're seeing is actually inaccurate. That if you see your own reflection, you see parts of you that are not fat, or vice versa, parts of you that are very small, or not big, you see them as small, or just wrong, right? It's actually an inaccurate perception of things, and it's actually a lot less common than, in fact, I've very rarely seen someone who sees their own reflection and looks at their arm and sees the reflection and says, actually, the arm that I perceive myself to have is much larger than it actually is. It's quite an uncommon thing. It happens in extreme cases of anorexia, nervosa, where people are very clearly, visibly very skinny and underweight, and they say, no, I'm still fat. That's when you have there is like a disconnect from reality there. But that's not that common, outside of those conditions. Usually what's happening is people just don't like their body. They see things, they get really upset and self-conscious and go, oh no, I'm really fat, or I'm not strong, I'm not muscular, whatever it is. They feel it very strongly. And they say to their friends, look how fat I am. And their friends say, you're not fat. You're a normal size. The person might feel fat. It's not that they're seeing themselves inaccurately. They might be seeing themselves exactly as they are. They might just not like what they see. But to their friends, they might think of someone who's very large. And this person might just be an average standard size. So by, say morbidly obese standards, they're not fat. But the point is that they're not happy with how they look. And so they might say to their friends, hey, do I look fat in this dress? Or whatever, you've heard that before, even in shows perhaps. Their friends say, no, shut up, don't be silly, of course you don't. Because they don't, but that's not what's actually going on. They don't see themselves as this very large person. They see themselves as they are, and they might not like it. They might label the way that they don't like themselves as, I don't like this part of me because I perceive it as being fatter than I would like it to be. So therefore, to me, that part is fatter than I would like. Is it objectively fat compared to some average of what that would mean? Maybe not. And that's irrelevant. But when we say, do I look fat in this? People say no. And then we go, but I feel like I do, by my standards. And then people say, well, clearly you have dysmorphia. Clearly you're seeing things inaccurately. It's not necessarily the case. It's very likely that it's comparing based on different standards. And the standards that we apply to ourselves are often very different to those that we apply to others. Because we might see someone with exactly the same width arms as we have. We wouldn't ever dream of calling their arms large or fat or whatever the word might be. I don't want to use I'm trying to use some common language here, and especially some of the language of my client. I'm not trying to infer that there's any correct or right or wrong way to be. That's not what I'm trying to do right now. I'm only saying that in case, labeling things as a body part as fat is considered a derisive language. I'm not trying to do that. It's just common, right? And that's not the point of this video. The point is, it's all about standards, and how the standards that we apply to ourselves are often the cause of a lot of our suffering. Not necessarily that we are or are not a particular way, but it's about how we are as compared to where we would perceive ourselves, where we should be. If you can address that, you're laughing, because if someone who is not fat sees themselves as fatter than they would like to be, they say, hey, do I look fat in this? And their friends say no, but they still feel that way. Of course they do, because that's not what's being asked. So check your standards. And also check, when you get that reassurance, does it actually help? Unlikely not, because again, it's not talking to the part that is the thing that's painful. The thing that's painful is the deviation from your standards, and your standards might be trying to pull you back into a place you want to be. Or they might be unrealistically impossibly high and hard to reach, in which case, change them. It doesn't mean that your perception of your evaluation from yourself with where you want to be might be wrong. It might be, but it also might not. I hope this makes sense. Okay, thanks for your time. Brings us to the end of yet another video. If you like this, hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment telling me the part that you enjoyed, what you disliked, what you agreed with, what you might take from this that might be useful for you. Love to hear it. Can't wait to see what you write. Thank you for your time. See you in the next